94.3 Radio 1.
Welcome to the show. If you're just about tuning in, how many of you remember what Ross did from Friends? Well, if your answer was he's a paleontologist, you're 100% right. But the question is, often you see that Ross in Friends, the TV show, got made fun of multiple times when, of course, he, told everybody that he was a paleontologist. I actually think that it's a pretty cool little profession, number one, all right? But number two, I also find it extremely fascinating how young kids get so engrossed in paleontology at such a young age, the study of dinosaurs, the study of fossils. I actually came across a 14-year-old who's managed to collect 136 fossils and is regarded as India's youngest paleontologist. Not even kidding. She was greatly inspired by Periyar University geology professor M.U. Ramkumar, whom she met when she was 10 years old. She's actually all the way in Tamil Nadu. But guess what? She delivers lectures, she does webinars and creates awareness about the subject of paleontology, and she really wishes to take up molecular paleontology from abroad. Aswatha Biju. Hi Aswatha, how are you?
Hello, sir. I'm doing good. How about you?
That's so cute. Like, I'm so nervous. Are you nervous? Don't be nervous. You're doing a great job so far, all right?
Yes, sir.
You have so many lovely trophies behind you. You're joining me from Chennai, am I right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So before we kind of go on, all right, for people who are wondering why I'm calling you India's youngest paleontologist, by the way, do you have a fossil with you that you could show me?
Yes, I can.
You do? Okay, wait, don't show us yet. Don't show us yet. We'll do that in just a bit. But of course, what I want to ask you is, this whole fascination with paleontology at such a young age, you're just 14 years old. I know it came from, the inspiration of Professor M.U. Ramkumar, but how come you decided to go and collect all this 136 fossils?
So, I was inspired towards the field of paleontology when I was at the age 5 after seeing an ammonite fossil in an encyclopedia, which was gifted to me when I was at the age 5 during my birthday by my father. But later, though I did not understand that it was in fossil, I I took it up as a normal shell that's existing in the ocean. Later, my mother said it isn't a shell, rather it is a fossil that you can't see near the seashore. She then took me to Egmore Government Museum, where at the entrance of
Wow.
geology department I was able to see that big fossil. Then I was completely impressed by it, seeing the kind of texture it has around its body. I understood that it isn't obviously a shell, as I imagined. So this is how I was inspired. Later on, as you mentioned earlier, through the guidance of my foremost mentor, Mu Ramkumar sir, who's officially a geologist from Periyar University, sir introduced me to one of the fossil sites in
Right.
India, that's at Ariyalur, where we could find plenty of invertebrates, vertebrates, chordates, and leaf fossil specimens, including microfossils. We could
Okay.
find these specimens out there. So I was in. He also gave me a route map. So using that route map, when I was at the age 10, I visited these sites and collected nearly 24 specimens with just a little knowledge relating normal shells with the fossils through their characteristic and suture-like patterns.
Very
Then
cool. This is such an interesting topic, and you're telling me so much already, and I'm so fascinated. Now you've collected 136 fossils. Can you show me one fossil that you have with you right now? Can I see it?
so right now I have a little gastropod fossil. Maybe I can get you another fossil too. I have fossils of little gastropod and the megaron bivalve shell.
So explain to me what these are, like individually what these are.
Just a moment. This is a gastropod fossil. Hope you could see it.
Yeah.
It is called as Nautica, that's its name. It is a fossilized Nautica that belongs to the Cenozoic era, tertiary period. It is aged 61 to 66 million years and it
Wow.
belongs to the stage Danien. So this is one of the youngest fossil I
Mm.
have in my collection because most of the fossils I have are ranges from 66 to 100 million years, 113 to 125, even 3.5 billion year old fossils.
What's
So
the oldest
this
fossil you have, Ashwatha? What's the oldest fossil you have?
the oldest fossil I have is of stromatolites. They are
Mm.
3.5 billion year old fossils, not million, it is billion year old specimen. So they were organisms that led to the evolution of life form on our earth. So they made every one of us and each and every organisms to exist right
You
now.
are fascinating. Let me just tell you that you are fascinating. You are like an encyclopedia. That is so cool. Now tell me, listen, if I'm a person who wants to go find some cool fossils, where's a great place in India that I can go to?
Uh, to be specific about it, there are a lot of fossil sites where we could collect fossils. So, according to my knowledge, there are nearly 15 fossil sites, just according to my knowledge. There might be even more because we have a lot of states. A single country has a lot of states, and among that, according to my knowledge, I know there are 15 sites where we could collect fossils. The three areas where we could collect fossils normally are Aryalur, Gundepperembede region, both in Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra. As I visited these regions, I'm suggesting them. And there's also one more place in Andhra Pradesh where stromatolite fossils are found.
Very cool.
Those gifted with that specimen, that is a place where we could find fossils. But finding fossils has two meaning.
Mm.
Uh, if we collect a fossil, that should be done passionately rather than a hobby. Like some people collect fossils saying that to just give a tag that I have fossil in my collection too. But rather than doing something like that, collecting it for in a passionate form would be more useful and more educative. So that if you have a passion and collect something, you will also get the idea, or
The
there
knowledge.
might be a new point at which you could try to share your knowledge with someone who doesn't know about it. So collecting it passionately is the most important thing.
That's so right. You're absolutely 100% right, and I love how you kind of said that. What I also love is that at such a young age, you sound like such a mature person. That's so nice. In your family, is there somebody who has like a big interest in paleontology? Who is like your guiding light in your family? I'm not saying outside your family, in your family.
I understand. So, when it comes to my family, none of them belongs to paleontology background nor geology background.
Mm.
My father is an engineer, and my mother was an English lecturer, and now she's a storyteller. She narrates a
Wow.
story related to each subject. Like we have science, English, mathematics, biology, etc., etc. She
So
narrates the stories regarding that.
what do they say when you tell them that you're interested in paleontology and this is something that you want to do? What do they say?
Nothing much. They were just happy that I chose something, chose a field that I felt is good for me. Because my parents usually do not force
Right.
uh, into getting into some particular field. They just leave it to our side, leave it to our decision.
Mm.
If we like something and when we choose it, there are chances for us to very well nourish in that particular area. So that's how
Awesome.
they think of stuff. Though my parents are from different backgrounds of studies and different areas of field, they are curious. And when I started sharing facts about the field of paleontology, they were interested to know
So
about it.
sweet. But I also really like how you also live the life of an educator, right? You're teaching your peers, you're spreading awareness about the subject of paleontology, which might not be so popular in India. So, how has that experience been? And at the age of 14, do people take you seriously when you're a teacher?
My journey of creating awareness regarding paleontology was so smooth. I started educating students from school, colleges, research institutes, museums, etc. But the first thing, I started educating people when I was at the age 10, and when I came to know that the field of paleontology is less popular in India, and there should be some kind of awareness given to each and every individual, so that they get to understand there are plenty of fields that can be pursued rather than medicine and engineering. So I took it up as a challenge, and I started educating people regarding the field of paleontology and conservation of fossils. So far, I've educated nearly 8,000 students and others
Wow.
globally. Uh, it's something like this. Uh, I got my first hand opportunity to educate students of 11th grade from my nearby government school at my area. I live in Palavaram. There's a government school nearby. So that was my first chance. And the major issue was said me to talk in Tamil, which did not seem comfortable to me right at
Mm.
that moment, because paleontology is a field where you have ample amount of scientific terms that cannot be translated into Tamil.
Yeah,
So
I
I
can imagine it's tough
felt,
to translate those big words into Tamil. Like there are some very long words as well that might not even have a
yes,
Tamil
of course.
duplicate, right?
Yes, so I felt it a bit difficult at that moment, but I took up that as my advice and started preparing my seminars accordingly,
Wow.
both in the language of Tamil and English. So I would like to mention that each and every seminars gave me some new experience and also advised me in various angles. At the start, I was ready with a PowerPoint, some fossil displays, and I was even at the point where I can start sharing my knowledge and all. But I had to segregate, divide my knowledge into various divisions, so that I can bring paleontology into greater reach, considering the age limits and the way everyone could take stuff into their mind. So these are the important things that each and every step of my
Right.
teaching taught me.
I find your journey so fascinating. And I'm really wishing you all the very best. It's such a cool little journey that you're on, and you're just 14 years old, which really amazes me. Ashwata, I want to wish you all the very best. Thanks so much for chatting up, and here's hoping that you can inspire the next generation of paleontologists in India. All right?
Thank you, sir.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video from Radio 1.